Hi Aries, this is the second half of August reading, so we're just going to take a look. I'm going to take an overall look for the rest of the month, and we'll kind of dive into other things separately. So let's get started and see what comes up for the sign of Aries for the second part of August, please. Second half of August, highest and clearest for all Aries out there that will be watching this video. Clear message for Aries watching this video, please. Highest message. Okay, Aries. Ooh, okay. Wow. That's a way to start. So looks like the first card out actually is the Ten of Swords. So it looks like it's with the Queen of Swords at the bottom of the deck too. Looks like either some heavy truths came out, recently or are going to. It just kind of seems like this is the end of a situation, just kind of not, nothing much left going on here. Yeah, all right, hold on. Ooh, wow, damn, Aries, what's going on? Three of Swords? Ugh, yikes. Could be over this King of Cups. I've got that here. Lovers, okay. I'm just going to finish this out. Let's see what we got here. Okay, all right, cool. All right, I like when things end on a positive note. That's always a good sign, especially starting off like this. I'm not going to, lie. So the chances are you would know you're starting off like this anyway. So, I mean, if nothing's going on, this reading, probably won't resonate for you. So, I mean, this looks, fairly significant and heavy. So, although it's weird, the funny thing is, not funny, but like weird thing is that it should look a lot heavier than it actually does to me, because these are pretty damn heavy cards, yet the other cards are kind of like not so bad, and they're kind of more joyous in a way. So I have a feeling whatever this is that's done is actually unleashing you towards better things. All right. And I'm not going to say whatever it is, because most likely this is a love issue. That's really what I'm seeing going on here. It just looks like somebody maybe reached out to you that, maybe this is some sort of rekindling, try, the second, third, 10th attempt or something at like a rekindling or something like that. And you're just kind of done, you're not doing that anymore. That's what I see. I think you're moving on to different things. There's a couple things this could be, though, so hang in with me. If it's not a love issue, there's another issue it can be too, and I'll cover that in a second. But I don't like to do everything all at once because it gets me sidetracked. So I'm going to stick with love right now, and I'll go over the second thing in a second. So, and I'll just give you a heads up in case the second one would have to do with either a job or school. Okay. So anyway, all right. So this looks like, to me, some sort of third-party situation, possibly. Not necessarily, but I'm kind of thinking that's it, and that there's a choice that needs to be made, and I think that you are ready to make that choice. That's really what I feel. Either that, or maybe, the person you were dealing with was involved in something else, and now it's kind of, come to your attention to make a choice and, either be done with this or whatever. But it almost feels to me more like you have the choice, like you have options. And, I feel like one of them is very cut and dry clear that you don't want anymore. You're done with that one. The good thing is I do see too, I mean, it's possible you're dealing with an Aquarius. That is very possible. You have a lot of swords, which are air energy in your reading. And even if you are dealing with Aquarius, either way, I believe this card signifies, something good is coming from this. There is some sort of healing, and some sort of satisfaction and better direction for you, okay, with this person. I kind of feel like whatever it is like you're hoping to get out of the situation is going to present itself in, some form or another. All right. So I do feel that. So whatever it is you are hoping to gain from the situation, if you are putting an end to something, There is something good that is, and that's common when we do that, when we say, all right, I'm done, no more, and we know if something's not good for us, and it typically another door opens, that sort of thing. But I really see that here, not just in that like quaint metaphysical way of saying that. I really do. I see like good opportunity for you. So, with the Lovers card here in the near future, I feel that, this could represent a choice, and, it's possible that it does, but I kind of feel like the choice has already been made, or that you are doing that now. Okay. And as soon as you do, that's when I feel like this is going to open up for you. So that's a really good sign. Like I said, mostly you have positive cards. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is going to hurt somebody, that you are, invested with. Okay. They're feeling it too. Okay. So, whoever this is, if it's you making this choice between two people, you might have to let somebody down. That's very possible, but they will be okay. All right. So if you're, if you have like a conscience, like a guilty conscience saying, or not guilty necessarily, but just like a feel sorry for them kind of thing, yes, that's cool, but they're going to be all right. They're going to make it through this. Yes, it's going to hurt them. All of those things, but they're going to stand tall in the long run, and most likely this is all for the better. I think you just truly, with the Ten of Swords here and this World card, I think you just really need to close this cycle, and be done with it, because your outcome is a Page of Pentacles. Okay, it's not like, oh my God card, but this is a really good card, and it just has a really fresh, look to this reading. It really kind of just stands out more than a typical Page of Pentacles would in another placement of the reading. So I really dig this. It's it's young, it's fresh, it's new. Maybe you've it could be that you were seeing someone else, maybe even possibly a little older than you. Maybe it was just difficult, and you're kind of over it, and you just kind of want something a little bit, not irresponsible, because the page isn't irresponsible, but there is a little bit of youthfulness, to this card, meaning, and with a king here, I'm thinking that there may be an age difference here, or it just could feel like that way. Like maybe this person's a little bit younger at heart, and they just feel they're grounded and all of those good things, but they're like a studier of life, and they're just a little bit more interesting, while being practical. It just seems like it opens up for you. Like this is some sort of opportunity that's like, okay, you ended this, so here you go. Here's this like, interesting opportunity kind of deal. So in that case, and summing that up, I would say, something is over, and it is, definitely, time to realize that, they might still be reaching out to you, all that kind of stuff, but I think you're not going for this anymore. And again, you do have the Three of Swords at the foundation of this entire reading, for this situation. That's not the outcome. That's just like what's going on. So this is a betrayal. This is heartbreak. This is all of those things, and it's all due to this King of Cups. It could be Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. It could be you, possibly, I mean, I don't think so necessarily. It doesn't seem like it, but, it's probably the person you're involved with, and they're just a little much, and it's tough. Okay. So if you do have a choice between two people, I feel that one will be a pretty cut and dry decision. If you do not have a choice between two people in love, then I feel like whoever this is, this King of Cups, they have been, maybe drinking too much. They've been out gallivanting too much. They've been coming on too heavy. They've been, coming on heavy, then pulling back. They're just kind of all over the place. If that's the case, and there is no third party involved, then I feel like eventually you guys are going to connect, definitely physically. I see that for sure. But you're going to connect, and the problem is that this person has been hurt so many times, so they're masking a lot of stuff, all right? So, and that comes out a lot of times in over-the-top ways, because they want to hide what they really have been through, so they put on all these costumes, if you will. And I don't see that part necessarily going away, but if this kind of can come together, I think that you guys do have a possible start with this Page of Pentacles, okay? And it's a start. It's somewhere. Okay, so that's kind of what I feel like. So if you have been heartbroken over this person, this King of Cups energy, and there is no third party involved, then I feel like eventually, there's going to be a little bit of, maybe communication, a little bit of healing, something going on, maybe through physical, connection. You guys like really connect and, have a really super hot night, something like that. And then like things feel better. And it kind of, puts you at a different level. And, it's still immature in its process, but it does have the potential to keep moving, keep growing. Okay, so I'll leave that there. Other scenarios this could be that are not love are, there's a couple things. This could be, if it's work related, it's possible that, this is a boss up here, and perhaps, a job came to an end, or a job that you thought you were going to get, they made you an offer, but it's like it was not what you wanted, not what you were expecting. You feel a little bit betrayed over the situation. It's just not anywhere close to what you were hoping for, that sort of deal. But it is something that you do love, and you like this job. You like the prospects and, that sort of thing, but you're very disappointed on what the actual offer is. That is possible. If so, again, with the Page of Pentacles as your outcome, this has potential to kind of grow into something in the future. So a page is very small on the money sector and all of those types of things, but it is hope. And it is the kind of hope and promise that it will build into something in the future as long as you keep studying and learning and staying with it and all of those things. It's the kind of card that the things will pay off in the long run. So there is that. And if it's something that you really love, you might want to consider it because it does have the potential, even though it maybe wasn't the big paycheck, you were expecting right up front, it could possibly move into the future with a few more, tweaks and things like that. So, and I do feel, strongly that this is something that you love and you've wanted and all those kinds of things. So, that might be worth it. You might have to move also. That could be in order to take this. That's possible. Either way, Page of Pentacles, good outcome. It's just kind of up to you. If what you thought might have been a king job, it turns out to be a Page of Pentacles job. That is disappointing, but not necessarily, it does have potential. Okay. The other thing, lastly, I will say for some of the younger viewers possibly out there, this does perhaps look like you could be dealing with a father figure of some sort. And, this could be like a school issue, of going back to school. All right. And it just looks like there's some disappointments there. Some things weren't there that you expected. Maybe you didn't get the school you expected, something like that, of your choice. That could be. If so, I believe that this person will help you. But be careful, because I think that you could do the better job yourself. I think they'll be offering you advice and things like that. And they've been through this before, but that might have been like years ago. So you still need to stay on top of it and make sure you're doing the right things. Either way, I do, again, with the Page of Pentacles, very good card, and the Star card. I see you eventually having like the perfect opportunity. So it may not be the one that you thought, but it will turn into the one that will actually flourish for you and make sense. So, okay. All right, so I'm going to leave that one there. And then I will do a real quick love reading also for Aries for this second part. Let's look at that. Aries, second half of August, please. What is going on with this love situation? What's going on with this? So let's expand the love part of this reading a little bit more. Give me for Aries, please. Regarding the situation. Highest and clearest, please. And give me the other person, please. Coming towards them. Who are we dealing with? How do they feel towards Aries? How do they feel towards Aries? How do they feel towards Aries? Card just flew down on my lap. Okay, King of Pentacles just fell out, so we'll look at him. Yeah, I think there's somebody else in this picture. And King of Cups came out as the outcome, and that's what we had in the wheel. That's what, and a choice. That's what we had in our other reading too, and this is a completely different deck. So there is a little bit more to the story, but so let me take a look. But I do see some similar cards that came out from that other reading. So hang on here. Okay. Yeah, I believe the person you're dealing with is like holding a secret from you, or there's somebody else involved, possibly. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I think this person like wants their cake and to eat it too kind of deal is what I just see here. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but that's you know, I see your cards as kind of the same, but from a more sincere perspective, if that makes sense. So it's like I see you guys both kind of doing the same thing. It's just that the other person is doing it like more shady and underhandedly, whereas yours is just kind of sincere. It's like you like this person, then you don't. You like this person, then you don't. You know, and it's like part of you like wants to, you know, strike off on something new or you know, something like that. But then, you know, there's all this confusion and maybe you guys argue a lot, or maybe there's a distance issue, or, you know, whatever it may be, you know, it just seems like that to me. You know, I do see from your end, you know, like a lot of passion towards this person. I do see that. But ultimately with the Eight of Swords as your outcome, and this is again just for the second half of August, but, you know, I see it just being like stressed out by this situation. Also kind of not seeing, you know, like the issues. And in other words, it's like the passion burns like really strong, you know, so that's like not an issue, but what is, you know, like you have no trouble seeing that, but the actual problems and the obstacles and well, not obstacles necessarily, but the issues, you know, I just feel like, you know, like you're not, you know, they're there, but you're not quite willing to really, really look at them the way that it's probably called for, if, you know, that makes sense. So as far as how they feel towards you, you know, I have the Moon card and the Four of Cups. So, you know, that it's a little romantic, it's a little dreamy and all those good things, but it's also, you very well could be dealing with a Cancer also, by the way. But, you know, it just seems, or Pisces, I guess, but I feel Cancer with all these cups. It's all very romanticized, you know, in their head, but there's really no action coming from this person. There's, again, I feel like drinking or, you know, something like that involved, or, you know, just like there's something being hidden here from you. And it's possible it could be another woman, very possible, because I have the Queen of Cups in the obstacles position. So, you know, I feel like, and I have the Page of Swords, but the Page of Swords is a young woman in this one. So, you know, and we have the Queen of Cups. So this could be a child also. That could be, maybe, you know, that's some sort of obstacle. But I tend to think this is actually two women. I think one is the one that is their kind of go-to, you know, like their home, their security woman, you know, and then you are this one that's like a little bit more kick-ass, if you will, you know, just a little more interesting and probably more passionate, you know, that kind of deal, you know. And but it's an obstacle for them. So obviously, they have to choose. There's choice here. Now they come out as the King of Cups. The King of Cups doesn't really make choices. To me in this deck, to me he just seems very content, like letting this go on. And I'm sorry, hold on. Sorry, the notifications come up. Sometimes they cut out my sound. So I was saying about the King of Cups. To me, he just kind of always in this deck seems to me like somebody who's just like fine with the way everything is. It's like, oh, I'll just sit around and never make a decision. And why should I? I've got this, I've got that. And, and there's just like this sort of, like he just expects everything, to kind of work itself out without really taking any responsibility. That's kind of the way I feel about this particular king. So, I'm not really liking that too much. I don't want to forget, too, the King of Pentacles fell out at the beginning of the deck. And what's interesting is when in that first reading, I was talking about a choice and like something's done. And as soon as it is, then these things open up. And then we ended with the Page of Pentacles. So I find it very interesting that now the King of Pentacles fell out of the deck before I even laid this spread down, because I do feel like there are maybe two choices for you. And I think this is the choice. So whichever one is the one that's actually a little bit more grounded, a little bit more practical, that sort of thing. Maybe very different than you too. The one that's very different, because I see this king also as like maybe could even be different ethnicity, or just something like that's that you're not used to, something very different for you. All right. And I see him as being a top contender here. And I see the other one as not making up his mind and not doing much at all. So if there is another woman involved, I don't see much action being taken. So, okay, I will leave that there for you, Aries. Let's see what September brings. We'll get there. Remember, this is just 2-week energy, and it may or may not resonate also. If you like this video, give it a likes, and all my information's at the bottom of the video. So, all right, Aries, enjoy the rest of the month. Make the best of it. It looks a little challenging, but remember also too that, like I said, as heavy as that reading should have been, it really had kind of a nice flow after that, whatever it was done. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, thanks, and I'll talk to you next time around. All right, bye.